Hey guys, welcome back. It's Corey here with the LG channel. I'm glad you're tuned in, and if you haven't yet, I remind you, please subscribe below to my channel to continue to get great videos ranging from a few wide-ranging topics meant to inspire you in your own lives. So today I wanted to talk about IT work and contracting or consultancy versus full-time employment. And I'm not, I've done both myself, so I have a good experience with this. I've had about a dozen IT jobs, and so I'm going to relate this more to the IT side of things. If you're not in IT, sure, you can learn and benefit from this, but it might make more sense for IT folks. But maybe not. I think some of the lessons and advice I give will apply to both. But I'm going to break this up into 3 parts in the video like I normally do. First, I'll talk about the consultancy side or basically non-full-time work. And then I'll talk about full-time work and some benefits there. And then I'll talk about my experience mixed in with that. So in terms of contracting, I'd say it's probably riskier in terms of risk for you as an individual to go into contracting. Now, that being said, a lot of people could possibly make their start in contracting. There's different contracting agencies, and then there's contracting for yourself, which would be a C to C or corporation to corporation, contract to contract contracting, where you would own your own business and charge the company you're working with, the other company you're working with, corporation, money. So you basically got two types of consulting that you can do. You can do some where you maybe work for a company that offers benefits under their own agency model, or you can be off on your own as a sole proprietor, running your own business and literally doing your own contracts. So I've done both methods, and there's risks and rewards with both. I'd say the largest risk, if it is one for you, is probably lack of PTO or lack of health care. So if you're not a person that likes to take care of the fine details and struggles with paperwork and administration stuff, well, I'm surprised you're working in IT to begin with. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're looking to get into IT. But you're probably not going to go the sole proprietor, individual contracting route. With that, you've got all the tax implications. You've got to, pay yourself. You've got to do your own investing. You got to find your own health insurance. You got to pay for your time off. So there's all this different types of little management stuff that if you haven't done it before, you're gonna maybe get hung up on that. But that being said, don't be scared of it either. Like I said, I've started many businesses, and once you know the process and you've talked to people and know what to expect, it's pretty easy to execute. So don't be scared if that's an avenue that you want to choose. Now, why would you choose contracting over full-time employment? I'm going to get into that at the end of this video, all right? The main thing is contracting, you're making your own terms, you're coming up with your own contract. Likely the project maybe isn't a long-term project. It might be just a few months or up to a year. I've seen a lot of contracts in IT. Or also likely it's a contract to hire position, meaning that potentially the terms could go full term or full-time employment, FTE, after you've discussed with your manager and maybe your 3 months contract is up and you've done a great job and they want to hire you, or the project's been extended and they need to extend your contract, or they have other projects they could use you on, so they want to hire you full-time. That's one option too. And then of course you get the benefits of full-time salary. Now, when you go from contractor to full-time, maybe there's a point in there where you're renegotiating your full-time salary, which might not be an hourly rate that's as high as your contracting rate, your individual contracting rate, but that's because now you're taking the risks and putting them on the employer for insurance and Social Security and taxes and all that. So they're taking the risk, providing you a job, and then possibly paying you a little bit lower wage because of that, right? So if you're making $100 an hour contracting, maybe you're only going to make $85 an hour with your company match 401k after full-time or whatever. So full-time, why would you want to work full-time versus contracting? Well, full-time offers a lot of job security, and maybe that's even false security. I can say this from experience because I think a lot of people feel, oh, well, I'm a full-time employee, that I'm not expendable. I can't be fired. I'm not going to lose my job. But that's not true. When companies get acquired or downsized or whatever, whole swaths of people get laid off and let go at the same time, and there's nothing to protect you. Labor laws are there, but they're not going to protect you if you were doing a bad job or if you were just part of that swath. It is what it is. So thinking that if you're working in an at-will employment state and thinking that you're full-time and you're protected and you're going to have more rights, you might have more employee rights in a sense, but really you probably have more flexibility with your management and the people you work with versus a contractor who's going to be grinding and constantly, making it to the next day. It's sort of like the guy that's trying to make the team. He's got a lot more to prove than the guy that's already on the team. So there's the difference, I think, full-time versus contracting. I felt like when I was contracting, and I still do this actually, but this is not a bad thing because I personally am a very self-motivated individual, but I felt like I was always proving myself the next day. Like I felt like there's a lot more pressure to deliver on a daily basis than maybe on a full-time employment. There would be lulls of inactivity and maybe boredom at times and just not a lot going on at times where I didn't feel that pressure that I needed to produce to continue to keep working at my job, right? So think of the pressure in terms of, what you have to deliver and the commitments that you'd make working full-time versus contracting. And likely maybe those commitments are a lot shorter. So that's maybe something you're better at managing. Maybe you don't want to do a long-term commitment, and that's why you don't want to work at a full-time company. Personally, me, I don't mind either one. So I think there's pros and cons to both. Like when I didn't have any kids and I didn't have, I didn't need extra benefits like life insurance, and company match 401k wasn't as important, and PTO wasn't as important to me because I was a single guy. I did a lot of contracting. Now that I have a family, there's something to be said about a consistent paycheck. So maybe that's an option for you is to get that consistent paycheck with full time. And certainly I feel like the money's harder earned consulting and contracting, and when I get that check with my name on it, like I'm way more proud of myself than when I get my check from a company that's just paying me. I don't know why that is, but I feel like I've worked so much harder for the check and I've earned it and deserved it as a consultant maybe. And that's probably true. I think you do work harder. So, but I guess wrapping it up, in terms of my experience and whether one's better than the other, I'd say use your judgment. Look at where you are in your life, your family situation, your financial situation, your goals in life. Maybe you're traveling a lot and full-time isn't for you. You're just trying to take temporary contracts, for 3 to 6 months out of the year, and then the other 6 months you're doing something else. I don't know. But be diligent, Be diligent when choosing your job. If you've got a kid on the way and, you need PTO, time off for that, maybe, a job that offers those benefits. But you can always negotiate this with your own individual contract too. Like, that's what I've done. At the end of the day, how much are you worth? I'm going to make a video on know your worth. I'm going to tout that bad boy, know your worth. But at the end of the day, know your worth, whether it's, my worth is X number, maybe it's $100 or $200 an hour, but if I'm working full time, my hourly rate is not going to be what I'm worth. Okay, what I'm worth is going to be the same. But my hourly rate might be actually lower than what I'm worth, right? Because now you've got benefits and company match 401k and time off and all of this that can be equated into a worth. Figure out your worth by figuring out how much PTO is worth. How much is an hour or a day of PTO? Probably figure that out last in the equation, but figure out how much the company pays you for benefits and how much those are worth and how much they cost. Everything has a dollar amount tied to it. So you can figure out, well, this company is offering me a low rate of pay, but their benefits stack up, and all of a sudden the rate's actually higher than if I were to come in as a contractor at $100 an hour. Their benefits are worth maybe $125 an hour, but I'm only getting paid $90 an hour. I'm actually getting more for my money with the full-time job than I am with the contractor. If you're going to get paid $150 cash, then take the contracting job. But if it's full-time, that might be a better route. So things to consider. Full-time, you can get pension and access to benefits that you might not have as a contractor. Contractor, you control your own taxes. You have levers you can pull with investing and more options in terms of investing. You can actually contribute a little bit more to your retirement accounts if you're a sole proprietor or own your own company as a contractor than you could if you were a full-time employee. So depending, everybody's situation is different. But so in terms of me, I've done both. I'd say the trade-offs, you have to weigh it's like a scale again, right? Like weigh the scale, figure out what your pros are, what your cons are, even them out, and find the best fit for you. That's basically what I'm going to talk about, guys. What I have for you today. Again, it's Corey with the LG channel. If you like these videos, click the bell below. You'll get notified each time I cut a new video and it's published. You'll immediately know, which is great. Isn't that cool? And again, I encourage you guys to live life to the fullest today. It's a sunny day. It's bright. It's happy. Let's be positive, help some other people, and do you. You guys do you today. Take care of yourself. Do something that really means something to you, and just do a little something extra for yourself today. All right? Thanks, guys. Keep tuning into my channel, and LG. See ya.